This is Iqbal from Bangladesh, Daily Pratham Alo.
Oh, hello, Bangladesh.
Yeah, yes. My question is, personally, in real life, do you have any soft corner for the people who are real bad? You know, I can watch that you are portraying all the bad people in the real life, like people with gun who are doing all the killings. You are portraying them as sometimes, you know, more sexy or more alluring, you know, and you love to portray yourself as a bad guy in most of your films. So what do you think?
By the way, I love your voice, man. You should do animated movies. You are... If anybody's here from Pixar, get this guy's number. I'm not making fun of you. I appreciate it, mate. Yes, I think I've like many filmmakers or writers or storytellers, I think I do have a sympathy for the devil in that regards. But actually, it actually is part of my, and I don't know why I do this, other than just, I guess, the because it is very self-conscious. It's very unself-conscious, I meant to say. But I like presenting characters to an audience and showing them warts and all, showing them, the worst sides of them, the most violent sides of them, the most deplorable sides of them, and God damn it, I'm gonna get you to root for them anyway. And I'm gonna get you behind them anyway. And that is, it's a special, it's where my storytelling lies. And I think part of the reason maybe that it's become such a thing is I actually do believe that when a filmmaker makes a movie or a novelist writes, well, I'll keep a filmmaker. When a filmmaker makes a movie, that first 10 years before he makes his first movie is probably the most important 10 years of his life or her life, because they don't really know if they'll ever be able to do what it is they want to do. It could just be a pipe dream, yet at the same time they have to devote everything to it if it's ever going to come true. So it could be a 10-year folly, and then they've just wasted their youth trying to do something that will never happen. And frankly, now it's a little different because with digital cameras, and you can actually try filmmaking and see if you actually have something to offer. But back then, you really didn't. You could spend 10 years and not really know if you have it. You could actually get the money to make a movie and realize that really wasn't where your talent lies. But during those 10 years before I was able to make a movie was me living through the 80s. And the 80s as far as Hollywood cinema was concerned, which to me was the most repressive cinema to come out of Hollywood since the 50s. And one of the ways that it was so oppressive was the fact that the Hollywood movie industry, almost seemingly led by Touchstone Pictures, had this thing where it was like, it was a mantra that every single movie had to follow, is that lead characters had to be likable. And that was the most important thing. Characters had to be likable. If the audience didn't like them, if the audience wasn't on their side 100% of the time, then it was considered a failure, and those movies never saw the light of day. Or even if a character was a bastard or the character was a jerk, he always had to be reformed sometime in the last 15 minutes. Everything was fucking Scrooge. He let the guy be the way he is, but in the last 15 minutes he redeems himself, and he's learned a lesson. And I hated that, yet at the same time, crime novels of that era were very exciting. I mean, pretty much led by Elmore Leonard. And then, and those characters were warts and all. And those characters had all kinds of foibles and strange traits and dubious motivations. But you ended up rooting for them anyway. And the fact that a novel, a character doesn't have to be likable. A character can be a perfect bastard, but they can be a very fascinating character that you want to follow the story. So in a lot of ways, my cinema in the early 90s, and I think there was a lot of other people like me who felt the same way, was a reaction to that oppression that I had felt in the 80s. And since that time, it's sort of become my character style, my way of exploring characters.
Chaz?